Carl, what's your best train experience?
Oh god, there's so many of them. What can I say? That one time there was a murder on the Orient Express.
Yep.
One time I got picked up outside of my house by Tom Hanks.
Oh, true. Do you remember that one time Johnny Depp was on a train and you thought he wasn't Johnny Depp, and then he was Johnny Depp in disguise as the actual villain?
He was a real tourist.
He was.
And that's
5
what Europe
stars.
was like for me.
Yep. That happened to you in Europe?
It did happen to me in Europe, and it turned out I had the surgery.
Oh my god, the twist was on you.
The twist was on me and Paul Bettany.
Oh wow.
We were in cahoots.
My name's Oscar.
My name is Carl, and this is Who Would Watch This?
Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we chat about film and try and figure out who would watch this. It's a comical podcast, you know? It's a defense from, there's no critiques there.
It's because we were bullied a lot in high school.
Yeah.
That's why we have a podcast
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Today we're talking about the Polar Express, which currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 56%, a Letterboxd rating of a 3.2, and an IMDb rating of 6.6. Oscar, what is the plot?
On Christmas Eve, a young boy embarks on a magical adventure to the North Pole on the Polar Express, while learning about friendship, bravery, and the spirit of Christmas. Sometimes these plot summaries
it's by someone that hasn't seen the film.
Yeah.
I've looked at the poster and I've assumed what this is about.
bravery. Now, before we even get started, we have a little guest on who has brought us this film in a Christmas present, I guess. Clive, introduce yourself.
Hi, I caught the train here by coincidence. Was not the Polar Express. I was picked up by Tom Hanks. He was called Larry Crown.
That was not Tom. Yeah. Well, that's not Tom Hanks. You've got to get away from that.
What a deep dive into
Yeah.
Larry Crown we could go.
It was half scooted, and then I caught the train the rest of the way, just to be on theme.
Now, Clive, you were with us last year.
Last Christmas,
Last
in
Christmas,
fact.
you brought us the Christmas with the Cranks, which you had gripes with. And this is the second film you brought us a Christmas film you had gripes with.
Why do you hate the Christmas spirit?
I just hate Christmas, I think. Christmas brings
wish
up a
there was
lot of
I
bad
wish
memories.
there was a word or some sort of, green animal to, you're a green-eyed monster.
Ooh.
Grinch.
Mike Wazowski.
Grinch. Yeah.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
Very topical.
Very topical.
Billy Crystal's back in the conversation.
Why did you choose the Polar Express? What about this film hurt you?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be a running pattern of Christmas movies that I don't like. I feel like I was hurt at Christmas at some point. And
This is the wrong podcast for that.
But we should unpack it.
Yeah.
Why?
We've been with this podcast. We're not talking about the plot today. We're talking about Clive's childhood trauma.
yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. No, I feel like I was wronged at Christmas and I took it out on Christmas movies. Or that I was wronged at Christmas and then happened to be sat down in front of a Christmas movie. And it was the Christmas of the Cranks and the Polar Express.
Oh, what a double feature.
It was a DVD 2-pack. Remember they used to do
I
those?
think you're right, though, Clive, because I also have the same gripes with this film. I remember watching as a kid and thinking, this is just ridiculous.
Mhm.
Too whimsical. I don't understand it. It was very, I don't know, it was too art house for me as a kid. I just couldn't get it, and it made me angry.
This is Moonlight of the children's films, right? Real swing, huh?
Yeah.
Swing with the fences. 3 generations of conductors sought out in different styles over Christmas.
Oh, should we get into this little family romp?
I think we should.
Do we have to?
Well, actually, no. Just quickly before we get into it, I would like to bring up that I had to spend $5 on renting this movie.
Me too.
It's
me
not
too.
on any
It's not on
streaming
anything.
service.
And for some reason, and it's such a cruel joke, they're like, you can only get it in Ultra HD. This is the first Ultra HD movie I've ever bought and watched, and it's the most ugliest one. They were like, you want to see 2008's graphics at its the highest definition you can get?
We've made it even worse than it was before. We've made it even worse than it was before.
I don't know. I feel like
you're
this is the
riding on
second
the
time I've ever
coattails
seen
of
this
the-
movie, and just like
Speaking
my
of which,
Glendale
please send me
experience,
$250.
somebody
I don't
else
think
paid
it was
for
fair.
and it
I
made
paid
it
for
a
all
lot
of it.
better.
One day this podcast will make even a single cent, and that's something back on tax.
Oh, you
Not-
know it.
not
I'm
in the
gonna
name of
claim all of
Glendale, I
it
will
over
not.
all the years.
No, we don't make a profit.
All
No
of it.
profit. No profit.
I thought you said this was a non-for-profit.
No, we don't.
Oh, non
No
for profit.
No profit.
All right, so we begin this film. It's a Robert Zemeckis film, which means you're going to get a few things. You're going to get a lot of dead eyes from some animation.
Mhm.
You're also going to get a Alan Silvestri score. What do we think of this score?
Alan.
I'm gonna say right now, just put all my cards on the table. For the first 10 minutes, there's a very loud lawnmower outside, so this sport is on you. Because for me, this was a silent film for the first 10 minutes. I think there's a lot of exposition at the start. I didn't catch any of it.
Tom Hanks was narrating.
Oh, no.
You missed it.
I was just like, you know what? I'm going to let this wash over me. There's two of people to help me here. I think I can breeze on through it.
Is Tom Hanks in this movie?
Who would have thought? Is he only in it once?
Twice?
Thrice?
Quadrice?
Wait. So real quickly, Tom Hanks is Santa.
Yeah, so let's go through all of the
Yeah,
roles
yeah.
Tom Hanks has. He is Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He is the conductor.
Yeah.
He
The
is
hobo.
the hobo.
Yeah.
He is the father of the kid.
Yeah.
He is the voice of the kid grown up.
Yes.
Gotcha.
He's a nutty professor, the
Yeah.
Clumps,
And also Flubber, would you
and
believe it?
Flubber, yes.
Yeah.
He's also Donkey.
Wow.
Who would have thought? So he's got a real range.
Yeah.
I think it's wild. He's gone, I want to be in the film a lot, but I'm not going to change my voice ever.
Mhm.
For Santa, can you just go deeper? They was like, no. I was
No.
like, we can fix that in editing.
I can make it just as nasal as normal.
Can you
It's
be more jolly?
It's just Woody. It's just Woody and a small child. Essentially, it's a Toy Story 5.
Do you reckon it was the test audiences? They were like, the kids hate the voices, Tom. They just want more of you.
Was he the voice of the little puppet thing that talks?
Oh, he might have been as well.
Probably.
Or was
I'm-
that too Toy Story?
Yeah. Oh.
He could have been.
But let's get into the film.
Yes.
Let's establish what's going on.
All right. I don't want to be too mean, but I hate this kid off the bat.
Okay, good. We're all on the same page there, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Normally we like quite not mean to kid actors. This is an abomination, so we can be as mean as we want. He's a mutant. He's a freak.
This is like a kid that needs Mars's mums or something like that. This is how bad he looks. He burns himself very quickly on a radiator. Like the idiot he is. There is a metal object on the ground.
Thank you for discussing this. I was
Does
waiting for someone to talk
anyone
about
know
this.
what this is?
No, I've got no idea. Again,
Do you know what we're referencing?
No.
He constantly hits it, and it's what like wakes everyone up.
Oh, is it not the thing that rips his jumper? His little
No.
No, that's the bed knob.
Right, yeah, which
You-
must be like a knife. I don't know what is in this like bed. This bedroom is dangerous. Yeah, what-
Stop putting it there. You ripped it twice in just a night.
Yeah, I assume the metal thing was a car rim, but then that makes me think
Oh,
that
yes.
Is he
Sorry, I do
carjacking?
know that. I think it was like, what if we flex that we can not only have a mirror, because a mirror is easy to animate. What we had a warped object, and then everyone went, but what's a warped mirrored object? So they went, how about a car rim? And he was like, do kids have those in their car? I think so. We'll
This
put-
was Robert Zemeckis was like, I don't know, never met a kid. I assume they'd have a car rim though.
was this a prequel to Fast and Furious?
Yes, it was. They were
Yeah.
like, the kid, there's Dom. That's why it looks hideous.
Dom Toretto believes now.
Yeah.
We find out this kid is the worst type of person. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
A nutty little conspiracy theorist. He has so many clippings about Santa
It's like
stashed away.
JFK's like getting killed. He's like, Santa, not real. But he's like a non-believer, but like normally a kid would just be like, my parents told me Santa wasn't real. This man has gone, I'm doing my research. I'm figuring this out. He's gone down like a pipeline you don't want to see. It's real dangerous.
This is Lee Harvey Oswald.
He works out Santa is Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh my god, he's on the knoll at the same time.
That's why the FBI was like, get that train to him now. We need to dispose of him.
Ice the track. Ice the track.
Yeah.
Mule it.
Okay, so that's pretty much the setup is this kid doesn't believe in Christmas. This film starts with essentially a train coming through him at night.
Oh, we also get the pivotal line of not even a train would wake him now, but what wakes him?
A train.
A
Yeah.
train. There is like a
Good
nice magical idea to that train rocking up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to compliment the film that I think some of its wides and the train looks well animated.
How nice does everything without a human inside of it look?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anytime
Yeah.
there's not a human and just Alan Silvestri's score is flowing up, I think it's pretty good. Now, having said that, Tom Hanks as the conductor is a very intense character. Clive, how do we meet him?
In the distance, is that like in a shadowy figure slowly emerging to you?
I will say, even though I knew that he's not the villain, the film sets up he is the villain.
Yeah.
He's like, get on my train, boy.
We find out that basically this kid's being picked up because he didn't get a picture with Santa this year. He didn't leave any milk and cookies out. The sister had to do it. It's my belief that we're now going to meet a bunch of kids that are non-believers, but lots of them believe in Santa.
Yeah. And I also find it weird that it was like not a very full train. I was like, surely there's a bunch of kids that don't believe. Why did we pick up one non-believer and a bunch of like people who believe but just have issues?
Well, why is it 5 carriages? Because we know one's filled with abandoned toys, one
Yeah.
has the kids in it, and then one's an empty one behind it. What's
Yeah.
happening with the other 2?
It's weird though that one's Cole, I assume, but then also it's weird that the coach, and we'll get into it, has like a first class lounge and like a second class lounge.
Yeah.
I don't know why this conductor's like, well, some of the kids are poor, so I don't want to put them messing up my nice carriage.
Yeah, why did they design different carriages?
I know,
They're like,
because
yeah.
they were like, well, what if one kid? So we're getting ahead.
There's a
of
good
ourselves.
class system. I like the fact that even in Magic, there is a class
Yeah.
system that they have to abide by.
Oh, those dirty gnomes aren't getting on our nice carriage. Let me tell you, the fairies can be up there, but the gnomes and the little imps, yuck.
There's just like a kid like walking out that looks filthy, and Tom Hanks is like, "No, start the train again. This one's not getting on. We're not even going to give him the spiel. He can just be a non-believer. It's fine. Take it off." This kid is like, "No, I don't want to hop on." Immediately hops on. Has to run for it anyway.
He jumps on the train. This whole section before the train, I assume would be, having not seen it for a while, would have explained this kid. I remember as a kid, I didn't like the main kid.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. And then he jumps on the train and it's so quick. And then it's meant to be a big moment that he gets on the train.
Mm.
I know nothing about this kid. I don't know why we're meant to like him.
I don't know his name.
I don't know
yet.
his name.
I don't know the whole. I was making an effort. I was like, I've not learned his name. I'm gonna see if the movie does it. And then now after IMDb, I was like, all right, I haven't written his name down.
Is his name Tom Hanks?
It was Tom Hinks. No.
Hong Tinks.
I believe his name is Hero Boy.
Oh, he doesn't have a name.
I don't think he has a name. It's one of those clever movies. Yeah. So the film makes a very point. His name isn't. He doesn't get a name. The script calls him Hero Boy. In the book, if you're a big nerd, his name's
This
Chris.
is based on a book.
Yeah.
Ugh. A novel, written words. Disgusting.
Surely this is a novel. What will this be? A train for 40 minutes does some hijinks, and then it's a lot of long waiting.
Actually, yeah, didn't David Foster Wallace write this?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually a scathing indictment of the American dream.
Infinite Pest. That's a big I don't know that many books. I couldn't tell you anything else he's read. Bandanas, huh?
He loves them. He wears glasses, I think. Yeah, this is one of those things where any other movie probably would have spent the day with him,
Yeah.
and we find out that he maybe has disdain for the sister. He isn't grateful for the toys that he's given at
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
Like just some things about him.
Something endearing, but you go, there's a flaw, there's a problem with this kid.
It's
and he
funny
needs to learn a
because
lesson.
it's a weird one because he doesn't actually have an arc because he never even starts the bridge of
Well,
an arc. So it's
yeah, I
just
know,
he's
exactly.
an empty void like his character looks.
But what's really annoying is you get on the train and it's like they put all the energy into adding personality to everyone else, except they took the personality of the main kid and added 10 of that to the 10 already on these kids.
Oh my god.
And oh my goodness me.
Oh, it's really weird beginning the film with this kid that's like, I don't know, at a 4, and you hop on the train and everyone's at a 12. And kids are like, did you know that we're on a train? That's the next train. Oh my god, we're not gonna pick them
You're getting ahead. Let's get to our band of fun characters.
Oh,
you
the
got
band of fun characters.
You got the
Oh my
blandest protagonist I've ever seen.
Mhm.
A girl who I
Whose
don't even.
pigtails do not move.
No.
It's eerie.
It's funny they spent all the budget on the snow, and they were like, "What about hair?" They're like, "That doesn't move." How's that for a choice?
You ever seen hair? No, I didn't think so. And neither is a child. That's what the movie's being sold to.
It's a magic train. The hair doesn't move.
Yeah. And then we get, I mean, dare I say, my favorite character.
Don't you dare.
Nerdy kid, he does
Oh.
this. I think I'm nailing his voice.
You are nailing his
you
voice.
are.
Because I wasn't him as a kid. I
Oh, it's
relate.
like soulless animations in the room with us.
Come
Oh
on,
my
guys.
goodness.
Hop on the train.
I'm gonna call this kid like Poindexter, I think.
You've nailed it. He's a Poindexter.
Does he have a name? I just kept calling him Glasses Kid.
I kept calling him fucking nerd. I just kept getting really aggressive. It's long to write as well. Like, fucking nerd does something fucking nerdy. It's like, oh.
All he says is facts about trains. It's really weird that all of these kids none of them are bothered by the fact that they're on a magic train.
No.
I think there should be one kid on here panicking that he's hopped on.
I think it's Billy, the kid that does misses the train because he
Yeah.
kind of sits in the second class carriage. One because he's poor, and two because he wanted to get on the train and then he didn't, and then the train stopped, so then he's put in the second carriage. But the whole time he's silent. I'm convinced he's gone, I've just been abducted. I'm terrified. What have I done?
I'm in my nightie and my parents aren't around.
And there's some kid who won't shut up, who seems to know how the train works. How?
I love that he's like the Poindexter kid has issues with the train, but not the magic.
No. He's got statistics. He's like, well, this is so inaccurate. It starts flying at one point. It's just like, well, that can work.
He's like, oh, so we are getting abducted. Because if you're taken to a secondary location, we know you're not coming back.
It's crazy. We've had 19 location stops, so we're really fucking lost.
We go past like a store, and all the kids get excited because I guess it's like a famous kids store with toys. And they run over and they're like, oh my god, it's Santa. And it's like a robotic version. And it turns around and bends over and gears are shown. And our main character's like, fucking knew it. Like he thought the journey'd be over already.
Yeah, he's like, well, I've learnt enough. This is a fraud.
He's like, oh, Santa, I thought for a split second might be in the display of this shop
Yeah.
that no one's around.
He must have believed enough that it would be him, and they gone, I knew he was fake.
I'm going to add this to my chalkboard of news clippings and to my jars of piss under the bed.
He starts rolling a tinfoil hat just like these fucking sheep on these cuntin' train. Oh, magic.
They pull out their tickets. I'm going to tell you, the tickets look pretty lush.
Yeah, better than a golden ticket. Willy Wonka's got I mean, Santa really, isn't he? Trying to beat him, but no, these are good tickets. However, Tom Hanks does a weird thing that even as an adult, I don't really understand. So his whole thing is he's a conductor, so he punches holes in their tickets.
They're just really miscellaneous letters. We got
Oh,
like an E and an A.
B-E-L-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the...
I think that was it though. I feel like we only got.
I
like-
thought they were
Oh,
all...
the girl didn't get... Oh, she got hers later on.
Yeah, I thought they were all going to just spell believe at the end.
Yeah.
So when they didn't, that was a real fun twist.
So Tom Hanks is weird. He gives people a ticket and then goes, "Can I punch your ticket?" Which seems like a weird system of security because he's very anal if you've lost your ticket. Which, in fairness, he probably should be because if you've lost your ticket in the seconds, give me the ticket. Can I have your ticket? It's like I lost it already. He's fair enough to be pissed.
I mean, it's also funny because he's escorted you onto the train.
Yeah, that's my question. I was like, why are there tickets?
Because what if they forget their moral they've learned?
Just give them a scrap of paper.
It's crazy. It's like the script notes, just like, all right, what do these kids learn? BE, we'll come back to it.
It's a real Chekhov's ticket. Like a Chekhov's spelling bee.
But I'm also like, why give the responsibility of the tickets to the kids? Like, what are they learning with that? Surely he could have just kept a magic list in his pocket. He was like, remember, your BE, all right?
100%.
Your name, BE, I'll keep it so we
Yeah.
don't lose it.
100%. 100%. Now, we've set up all our band of brothers. This is sort of a band of brothers.
They're now going to war. This train's going straight to Dunkirk.
So they're just driving to the North Pole. That's kind of the thing. I will now say that this film, I did not remember this as a kid. This is a musical.
But it kind
Is
of
it?
isn't,
Is it? Yeah.
It's like the film, it feels like, so it missed the first song, went, all right, fuck it, we'll just go to the second song, which is an insane song. And dare I say, I watched this maybe 4 days ago. I was angry. I had some angry notes, but I've reflected, I've learned, I believed, and now I love hot chocolate.
Can you do it? Can you do the song?
No, I can't.
Hot, hot, yeah, we got it. Hot, hot.
But it's Tom Hanks. I've never. And does Tom Hanks ever sing in any of his movies?
I don't think so.
Because now we know why.
Do we think he does the magic, like this hot chocolate performance every year?
I think so. He's got it down to a pretty good timing.
Do we think it's a yearly thing that the Polar Express comes? Or is it just tonight?
They do mention, he does say, oh, we've never been late before. So I get the sense that it's a yearly.
What does Santa really want with these kids?
What does he want with 7,
I
8
don't
kids?
really get it. Well, one, it's not okay. So one, if it's rounding up all the non-believers, massive train that would take so many people. One, the film's like, people forget, it's fine. But also, the main thing is like, all right, one of you kids is going to become the first kid we give a present to.
It's so culty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get the sense it's more like Santa's trying to impress the shareholders.
Mm.
And he's brought like some of the clients. And he's like, this is who we sell to. Look how happy they are. It's working.
One kid's like, I don't believe. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Yes, you do. You want that fucking bike, don't
Yeah.
you? Because it is weird because they travel so far, yet none of the kids are worldly. Like they've only been picked up from America.
Like middle America though.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Like Ohio And that was it. They were like, well, I don't know, 7 kids from there. That'll probably be the general gist.
Yeah, we meet one of the kids that's like, I don't believe in Christmas, gay marriage.
They're all mega
global warming.
The shareholders are like, good, we like those kids. They got the same
Yeah.
politics as us. Honestly, the elves are fucking like racist. Let's just put it out there.
Oh yeah, how screwed is, I'm sorry to jump ahead, but when we find out the multitude of how many elves there are, he's really lucky that they're not going to like form a, what is it, like not an
A
alliance.
ball? A giant ball?
He's so right. Those elves started dancing. I'd freak out.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
No, we're lucky that they don't form a, what is it at
A
work?
union?
A union. He's screwed if they form a union.
Oh, they're unionized. They're eating him. But we're
They're
getting
like,
ahead of
all the
ourselves.
money's going to the train to get the 7 kids here, and you can't give me a raise.
Well, back to the trend. I also wanted to mention the emergency brake that
Yes.
seems to be pulled quite often in this movie.
Yeah.
It begs to question, why the emergency brake?
Well, I think it's also crazy because I love every single time it's pulled, Tom Hanks is furious.
Yeah.
And then, unlike every fucking scene in this movie, it seems like whenever we have a problem, like you think, oh, well, this is gonna like snowball. The problem is solved at the end of the scene. Like it's established and done. So the pulling of the handbrake, Tom Hanks like, what? Who did that? And the boy was like, the boy wanted to get on the train. He's like, cool, my mistake. Moving on. It happens like 3 times.
Well, why didn't you just say
Yeah.
so?
We all know this kid's addicted to pulling brakes.
Oh yeah.
That's what I think. Pulling brakes on the plot, pulling brakes on the narrative.
Character, fun, Christmas joy.
Because we get our first like interlude where this kid loses her ticket, right?
The one that she left on the seat.
Yeah, purposefully so,
Safely.
safely.
Mhm.
This kid, ruins the life of a woman. Right? So he's like, oh, she forgot her ticket. She's coming back. Stop worrying. The moment he opens that door, it flies right out of his hand. It flies right out of his hand. Not to worry. It pockets itself right back into the window. All he has to do is move down the window a tiny bit to grab it with his hand. Everything's fine. What does he do? Drop it completely. It flies into the wind again.
I will now say, I think this is how the film pads itself.
Yeah.
Can we? What was this like in the cinemas? Was this like the biggest? Like, was this Avatar in 2006? Like this
Oh my
golden
God,
ticket.
Avatar was only 3 years after this.
This golden ticket goes on about a 5-minute adventure. Gets washed away with wolves down a big eagle. Another big like thing. It feels like it was in 3. It feels like a roller coaster. You know how Martin Scorsese's always like, films are roller coasters. This is literally like an experience.
Yeah, maybe Martin Scorsese
Yeah.
thinks this is Marvel's Polar Express, and that's why he's been
He
saying his
keeps
comments.
watching the Polar Express like, oh, they're all the same. It's all the exact same. It's just a roller coaster. The characters are shit. It looks weird.
Why are people raving about this Black Panther movie? It's just a kid on a train.
It was just like an unnecessary tangent. What did he think was going to happen to the girl? Was the conductor going to go, oh, thanks for bringing the hot chocolate to the poor kid in second class. By the way, where's your ticket? You don't have one? Kick you off the train.
He's like, oh, do you not have your ticket? Can you go up to the edge for a second, please?
Yeah.
But Poindexter's the one that's hyping up like, oh my god, did you just lose her ticket? He's gonna kill her.
Yeah, guys, come on! You gotta kill a ticket!
I'm sad that I found this skill, and I think I will be used.
It's the only voice you can do.
Yeah.
I think what's so just nothing about this little sequence that just feels like you're going through the wind, it's like all for IMAX 3D, is the fact the ticket then flies back in and he finds it and walks back out with it anyway.
Yeah.
So the entire sequence is moot. If you were to actually cut it and move it from the film, nothing's
Can you
changed.
imagine what a weird hard cut that would be? Like, he goes to pick up the ticket, cuts, and he's like, here you go.
So basically what's happened is now this kid has to venture onto the top of the train.
Yeah.
I would have given up.
Yeah.
If I was this kid, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, she's dying. I don't mind. I've just met her.
She was the nicest person that he met on that train.
The bar was low. The
Yeah,
bar-
exactly.
What, because there's only 2 speaking roles? I'm convinced all the other kids can't talk. They're all moot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think Santa forgets about them, because essentially he's like, line up, kids. All right, Poindexter, girl, weird kid, and our hero. You guys can open the presents. Oh, there's more kids? Burn them.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, get on the train.
Where are you from? Poland? On the train.
Oh, this shareholder's gonna hate you.
This won't look good for the investors. Get them out.
kill that Polish boy.
Can we get diversity at the front, everybody else at the back?
But opposite, the elves are really racist. So, just like, all right, back on off.
Just meet the minimum quota.
So what happens on top of the train? That's the fun part.
That's the fun
We
part.
meet Hobo Man.
We meet Hobo Man.
We meet the hobo of Christmas. A real staple for children nowadays.
Everyone's got their stockings. Well, like now you got like a little stocking with like a hole in the bottom. It looks all smelly. That's what people do nowadays.
Yeah, children love to cook coffee with a sock now in name of Hobo Man.
It was the ghost of second class's kids' future.
Okay. So, who is this man? Like, who's this film about?
Who's he meant to like represent? Like, I think that's the thing where any other movie would be looking at this and being like, all right, so this main kid like represents potentially non-believers, but there should also be like somebody that's like ungrateful, but everybody else believes in Santa. I think the Poindexter one is supposed to represent like you can't make sense of the magic of Christmas.
Yeah.
He's like the smart one.
That's why I can
Yeah.
do it. That's why I nail it.
But I
You don't
know
believe in
what
anything.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know what the hobos represent. He's essentially just like a
Does he not believe in Christmas? Is he meant to be like,
He is Santa, right? Isn't that the concept? Maybe.
I think he's aware. Like he's like, I run this town, but I'm a hobo.
I think he's meant to say there's no point to. I think he is like, there's no point to Christmas, and then you kind of look at him, and you go, "Yikes! Is that what I end up like?"
But then he's got cool powers. He constantly saves the kid like 3 times. So I don't
He also constantly dies, and he can't leave the train.
Yeah.
It seems like a nightmare for him.
Yeah.
Like he's trapped in a whole other film
Mm.
where they're like, "Hey, Santa wants you to stay on the train and just entertain children," and he's like, "Will I ever see my family again?" And Santa's like, "No."
Could you imagine? Just like, what have I got? Like, I'll stay on top. Imagine that. It's like, you can just chill with the kids. I'd rather sleep on the top of the train. Like, entertain those weird looking kids down there. They freak me out.
And maybe ski a little.
Yeah, I'll
ski
ski.
a little bit.
Yeah, so essentially they ski down the train. It's great for this film because we can just breeze past hours of content of them just like doing long ski things. Were we impressed by the skiing thing?
Oh,
Mhm.
you know what I do love though is this hobo is also there to just try out some new material with the kid. The kid's like, "What? You've never met Santa?" And he's like, "What? You mean this guy pulls out a hat and just does a bit for ages as a
He
robot
is-
Santa?"
ho, 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 ho.
Ho ho ho! I only assumed this was Tom Hanks running with it, just running with it on green screen.
Imagine that. They were like, Robert is like, we can do anything. Tommy's like, what? I pull a hat out my jacket and I put it on. Ho ho, I'm Santa. He's like, okay, Tom.
Robert Zemeckis is like, Tom, can we just run that again?
Yeah, we're stuck. We're stuck with that.
No, I'm happy with that take. I'm happy with that one take, Robert. On to the next one.
Like Clint Eastwood, I'll do it one time. It's like, this is mocap, Tom. You're doing 4 people. You have to. He's like, I'm doing it every scene once. He's like, but you're everybody. You need to act multiple times.
You're most of the budget. You can't only claim one take.
He's like, don't know the time. I got Larry Crown after this. Time is money and Larry is money. Rob, all right?
Larry Crown is of the essence. Like money is the essence of the Polar Express. So basically, now the kid's worked his way to the front carriage. We find out that the little girl has indeed not been murdered, but has been left in charge of the entire train.
It's weird this train's like got like workers, like it's magical, and yet there's still like people that have to. There's like a driver and like a coal shoveler.
Oh, and also yokels equals comedy.
Oh yeah,
Remember
These
2004?
Yeah, they were like Jar Jar was big. Get 2 of them, 2 freaks. and
That
make
was
them-
the lesson from. Was the movie?
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
We want more of this.
More of this.
More of this.
Robert Zemeckis is like, only one thing worked for me in that film, Mr. Lucas. Jar Jar.
And was there any train to? He's like, not really. He's like, well, then one thing it is.
This bit of just this guy yodels a lot. Sure, like this is a movie without comedy, in my opinion. There's nothing to laugh at.
I think that's what you're meant to laugh at.
Yeah, but it's so broad,
Mm-hmm.
such broad comedy that you're meant to laugh at this guy yodeling with his beard.
Yeah, when he gets pulled on.
And
Yeah.
he reacts to like every obstruction, which by the way, it's a magic train. Why are there obstructions?
Yeah,
Just go over the elk.
fly, just fly.
Just go over the
It seems like like I don't know who constructed the tracks at one point, but just build over. It seems like you had an infinite budget because you've gone from like middle America to the North Pole. Surely that's a $1 trillion investment. Just don't build it under the ice lake.
Surely, if the
Look at
real
those
world,
Grinches, just like there's nothing magical, is it? Majestically, it's ridiculous.
I mean, look, this movie's literally just for train nerds. Because when he gets there, this little girl's like, and this is how you use the train. And I'm like, I bet there's a kid somewhere being like, holy shit, this is the dream! This is the dream to be put in charge of the Polar Express! Ah!
Yeah, so we get the next like sort of big set piece. Bunch of elk. We excited by the elk?
I'm just excited that you know what they are.
Oh,
I
maybe-
was like reindeer.
Yeah, I
but-
thought they were reindeer.
I bet that's
Elk,
pretty silly. No,
wow.
those are elk, okay?
I'm actually quite. I know my elk.
It's just one of those things where you realize, wow, all the problems that they're going through are just solved so quickly. Like, it's just a movie full of little bits.
That's what I'm saying. Like every like problem is solved in the next scene. So like
Yeah.
how we get rid of this elk? That guy could scream. All right, the elk are done.
Yeah.
And is
Oh.
there meant to be a lesson in it? I think that, but then so quick that surely there's not a lesson.
No, it just goes to show like make some noise and elk will move. I guess that's a good lesson to teach kids.
Yeah.
I actually think that's more valuable
Yeah.
than believing.
Yeah, true. Honestly, good job that believe shit.
I do wonder during these periods of the movie where I'm bored where the hot chocolate men have gone.
yeah. That's the-
Because
that's the best part
it's
of the
been a
whole film.
while. We go through the carriages.
I don't know. Based on the way they looked, I just imagine they're in one of those like magic carriages that we never see, half stuck between a seat.
Yeah, they do
Glitching
like-
a little
they do
bit.
like- They, do like they fold up quite
Oh
easily.
yeah, I think Tom Hanks has just deflated them
Yeah.
and just like has stored them away for
A
next year.
kid walks and he's just blowing them up. He's like, it's not a sex thing. It's for your hot chocolate. Just drink it, okay?
Like the Tom Hanks just uses them as a nang. It's like gotta go through another Christmas Eve with these kids.
Sucking up. Hot. Yeah, we got it. Oh god. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, so they go past the elk, solved easily. The ice starts cracking.
Yeah.
They're going through. They're almost going to fall into the ice. The back half's falling in, but they manage to get out. Did half the kids drown?
Half
What's
the kid.
happening to them?
Oh my god, half the kids are drowned, but also they're being given piping hot chocolate. So that carriage's been moving around a bunch. Tom Hanks walks back in like, we did it, guys. The kids are half waterboarded, half burned. So it's just a dreadful
Yeah,
situation.
the one kid that's alone in the last carriage should just be floating, head down, and Tom Hanks is just like, oh god, luckily that ticket's a binding contract once I've stamped 2 letters into it. It's an NDA.
Yeah, I wrote. We got to cut back to a bunch of just dead kids and waiters drenched in water and cocoa.
Tom Hanks just sees floating, like half deflated and waiting. He's like, oh, maybe I can suck one out and try and get out.
He's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Weirdo, pigtails, hero, poor kid. All right, we've got
That's
the track.
enough,
We got
that's
the.
enough.
We got
At least
him.
the broken carriage.
Woo!
Just open it off.
Just undoes the pin. Santa's not going to be happy with this. Oh, I do like that. After this is happened, the 2 kids are like sitting on top of the carriage, and the wind picks up, and he loses the ticket again. And the chick's like, "Oh my god, the ticket's flying!" Oh, she's like, "Oh my god, you're about to lose your ticket," and he goes, "It's not my ticket, it's yours." So almost about like dust off his like, "I've done enough. It's on you to grab it in the wind now."
That is so funny. Just like, oh man, I lost it once, but lose it once, shame on me. You know, that's now your ticket. So, shame on you.
I like Hobo Santa's like, wow, this kid shoves responsibility really good. Do you want a job in legal?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to Santa how we killed those kids and why it's not my fault?
I don't remember how the scene is set up. I don't remember how the scene ends, but all I remember is that the kids go through the scariest carriage I've ever seen in a film. What a strip! Like it's not even like a clever bit of horror. They're just like, what if we insert a terrifying scene in?
It's just not a fun train. Like, that's the thing is, in any other movie, the entire film would be, like, exploring this magical train that probably represents, like, different aspects of Christmas that are, like, wealth and respect and happiness and family. And this movie should be, like, exuding Christmas.
Mhm.
It's genuinely so dull and dark. Like, we just watched the Falling for Christmas film, right? And every scene is just filmed with decorations and baubles and greenery and trees. Like, the carriages should be looking like this.
Mhm.
It looks like a dull shit train that only gets used once a year. And they're like, cool, we'll just commit to that for all the kids watching at home. So I don't know what this like abandoned toy carriage is meant to represent for the characters. Like, what do they learn here?
I don't know. I feel like it was just
Recycling?
Recycling.
I think so. I think they're just like, this is where all the broken toys come, and they're like, but toys aren't really real, so it's not really that bad. But also, there's a was it not Scrooge? Yeah, is it Scrooge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of like, oh, that's next film, kind of a Marvel-esque thing.
He does Pinocchio as well. That's what I was like. Did he know his career path? And he was just like, I'm just gonna shove in every Easter egg for a movie that I'm thinking of doing in the next 25 years.
Here's my notes. Just make something of that. Just like,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's just walking over a wire in the background.
oh, Marwin. Oh, gross.
Hey, my name's Marwin.
That's what the kid represented.
Well, I also wanted to talk about after the toy scene. They're on the back of the carriage singing.
Oh.
Oh.
It's like the film forgot it was a musical. It has one song and went, that's enough. And then went, we're at an hour? Shit. 2 more now. And it's the most, I skipped through the song. Was it good?
Oh, well, I got excited for a minute because the main boring kid, goes up to the door, holds it, and for a moment I feel like he's just going to slam the door and lock him out and let them freeze. And I wrote here, I'd like it. It would give the main character some personality. Even being a dick.
I think so. Imagine that. Just like he locks it, goes, I'm not in for the music. Because he's meant to be a Grinch. So yeah, he shouldn't like the singing. But the song goes on.
It's so long. I think it would have been a fun decision if we were like, oh, the trip isn't helping him. He's losing more and more faith. Like, it's making him hate Christmas more. He's like, so far I've had to scale a train, meet a ghost hobo, and be friends with the only 2 children on the train that are pitchy when they sing. No, thank you, and slams the door closed.
Well, then after that, what's the thing? They start seeing the lights in the distance.
Yeah, and then they get the North Pole song, which
Well, I had here, what's the Tom Hanks character? The conductor says, they look like the strange lights of an ocean liner sailing on the sea. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They look like a fucking island. That's what they look like, Tom.
It's like a freaky little island. I don't know when he does this. I think he does it during this. But I love the commitment to like not giving a shit about the hair, because they pretty much Tom Hanks takes his hat off and he's exactly where his hair, like his hat line is, bald, and it's just like, I'm hairless, and then puts the hat back on. And it's like, what? Was that maybe funny?
Well, there's fun gags for all the kids. They love yodeling, hair pulling, and no hair. It's a good three for 3.
Comedy comes in threes. Those
Yep.
threes.
They're like, laugh at your dad. Your dad's bald, isn't he? Yeah, you'll love it. Look at him. Make fun of this boy.
You like reflective surfaces, don't you?
Clive, what do you think about this elf North Pole city?
It was built to be human sized, but like bougie human sized. Like, they have huge windows that like take up. It's basically the 2-story buildings with massive roofs and massive ceilings and massive windows. And then you see who inhabits it, and you're like, this is just cruel.
It is.
Santa has
all the steps are like a good, like, it's like, I had to crack my knee every time I do have a step.
And it's all for one full-size human. One guy was like, I hope it's built around me, because the millions of elves that are here, you're fine.
Now, we have finally got into the elves. What do we think about the elves?
Ghostly, ghoulish, and upsetting.
and male.
Yeah, they're all very, I think they all look like British men, like from Birmingham. Like, kind of like, they all look like they smoke a lot.
Don't say that. We've got a big fan base in Birmingham.
Oh, we've got a big Brum fan base right there. How you doing? All right, how you doing? Bloody Brum.
Yeah, those 3 guys from Birmingham, didn't they like lend their faces?
They
to
did
this
all the
movie?
mocapping. They were like, get me the ugliest men you can at a fish and chip shop. I want to make them every elf.
What do we think this choice is to have most of them be male?
I don't know. I think maybe that Robert Zemeckis accidentally leaned on the keyboard and tapped Control C,
Yeah.
and then somehow went, "Oh, sorry," and then clicked the V,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, it was a full city.
Yeah. Maybe deserted cities. Like, why is there a trillion ugly elves here? Just like, keep them in. We've already rendered them.
It really upsets me that when they're marching, some of them are in unison, some of them aren't, and others are just doing flips, but boring, slow flips, like they're being forced to do
Like,
it.
they're a bit drunk and they've kind of like, I can do a flip. No, I can't.
Like they've definitely gotten shit-faced on the way to the big celebration.
I was interested in I wanted to see inside the houses. I wanted to see, is there class systems? Is there wages? Is there communism?
I think so, because I feel like
They're communism.
I think so, because the massive, like, you kind of, as you're driving by, the film's like, isn't it pretty? And it's just
It's not.
slabs of rows of housing. You're kind
Yeah.
of like, I don't know. I'm not this isn't too magical to me. It sounds like a sweatshop on an industrial level.
It does. It just looks like an industrial area.
Yeah.
Like, it really sucks the fun out of Christmas when you're like, oh, wow, really is just very corporate.
You know what Christmas goes well with? Brutalism.
But I'm like, I want to know if they have a life. Is there like an elf that has to drop their kids at soccer only to meet their like ex's new
Oh my
husband?
god, can you imagine? It's like elf politics. Like, what are you doing? Like,
He's in rapping.
yeah.
He's in-
Oh god, he's still stuck in rapping. My man's in bows.
You stink like coal constantly.
I've been fucking the coal girls, okay? There's just men here. What do you mean you've been fucking a coal girl?
You know you just want to be on a present carrier, don't you? You're one of the people that jumps down if there's too much weight, just to make it a bit lighter.
This is by far the most boring scene. Essentially, the kids get lost.
This movie doesn't know what to do with themselves. We are only 50 minutes into the movie and we're off the train.
Yeah.
The titular train.
To the point that they've gone, just find a way to get them back on the train.
Oh my God.
And it rolls backwards due to no momentum. What's causing this train to roll backwards?
I don't know, because they get lost in one of the carriages and then they walk. I've got nothing for these. They just walk.
It's just a detour. I mean, nothing goes on. I feel the only point is to check out like Santa's operation to get an idea of it. I'd rather watch an episode of Undercover Boss North Pole.
Oh my god, can you imagine? There's a towering man in a freaky little elf costume, just like, that Santa guy's pretty good, huh? Pretty big, but, you know, I like it. You know, it's good.
And then this is the elf just crying, being like, we don't get weekly wages. And I can't support my 11 kids. And Santa's just like, oh, you know, I'm sort of like the same. Except, you know what I do? Suck it up and not have that many kids.
Yeah, and I also get a woman here. Yeah, so Mrs. Claus and me are fucking, what are you guys doing? Circle jerking?
He's like, oh god, I really sympathize. But I also sympathize with the guy in charge who has to fly around to 8 billion people in the world.
Once a year.
Makes you think, hey?
Once a year. You know, it's tough for him.
Guess we should all just, put our heads down and keep working.
Yeah. And no unions. I swear to God, no unions. I'll be furious.
By the way, I am taller than you. Don't read into
I
it.
could step on you. I could kill you.
He's like, anyway, keep up the good work or, you know, the beatings will continue.
I hear.
Anyway, we should probably get onto the beatings.
Now, they walk around for a while. I don't think they even talk. I'm bored, but essentially they get into
Yeah.
Santa's sack.
Oh, I do want to say the thing, how they end up in Santa's sack is terrifying.
Mhm.
They're sliding down like an infinite slope, circling around to a hole that they don't know where it goes to. I'd be in a huge panic. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I'm going to die. They also, so they land on the top of presents.
Yeah, and then that kid's got his present, and he's like, oh, I'm going to open it.
How does it feel to know yours was left till last?
I know, right?
Like, you were an afterthought. Like, the elves were like, oh, we thought that kid died.
Oh, damn.
What do you mean he needs a present? I don't know, just bundle up a dead elf.
Did you not kill him on the Polar Express? That was the main reason of Polar. It was like, just kill him. We don't give him presents.
Oh, that's what, you know what it is? I bet the Polar Express is actually like 10 kids that accidentally evaded the list. And they're like, oh, we need to pad out the time until their presents are done. Chuck them on a train.
Pretty much. I also, the kid's going to open up his present, and then the hero main boring kid is like, don't open a present, not before Christmas. And I'm like, you now believe in the rules of
Get
Christmas?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that.
Where's the logic?
No.
Present's fucking huge as well.
It is.
Like, it's the size of the child. I only assume, I don't know what else is in there. Maybe another hymn.
Maybe another 90.
He loves a 90.
I
doesn't
love-
Cool 4090s. Thanks.
Love a
Santa.
90.
he? What era is it? Do you reckon it's in current day?
I think it's wartime. Which war? I don't know. The
Korean
yeah,
War.
Korean War.
So they find in the sack Point Dexter.
Yeah.
How did he end up there? How did he end up there? What little side adventure did he go on? Do you reckon the elves went to like eat him?
Yeah.
Like it's a bit of an eat the rich scenario when the kids arrive on the
Stop
train.
nibbling on me.
I feel like the Santa's a bit hungover for his final day of work and is like, shut that kid up by any means necessary.
Put him in the sack. Put him in a present. I'll throw him in the ocean. I don't care. I'll just dispose.
We'll just see if he survives the Atlantic, and if he does, he can have a gift.
Yeah, so they get the big sack. They're all in the sack. a blimp lifts it up.
The sack isn't big enough, right? It's not big enough for for all the kids in the world.
I mean, constantly it's like it's a magic sack. But
it's fucking huge.
But yeah, it's weird they're committed to being quite big.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't mind if it was like smallish. You're like, there's multiple. It's like, no, I think they've tried to be like, that's all of them.
Well, I also don't like the fact that when the sleigh and the sack is getting lifted, like this, or the sack's being lifted up over the tree, and then it's like they're like, "Oh, is it going to get over the tree this year?" It's like, why is this an issue?
Yeah,
you guys
it
are
should-
magic.
Yeah, surely go around the tree.
It knocks off the star.
Yeah, and
almost
then-
kills a guy.
And then the elves are like, don't worry, we're prepared for this. And they just suicide jump off. And like, thank God we got ribbon though.
We'll die in the name of Christmas. Then Santa's like, oh, looks like we might crash. 4 of you kill yourselves.
Well,
Why Santa? I need an outlet.
This movie's nonsense. It's just looking for excuses to keep going.
So essentially to get out, they're like, all right, you hero boy, you get to be the first kid that gets a present. Also, here's a really close-up shot of putting my bells, my reindeer. That goes on for like a year. And the slow motion bells, the bell then comes off, flies in the air, flies in the air, flies in the air, flies in the air, lowers in the air. Then it stops almost, and then the kid goes, what's that? That's a bell. And the bell almost stops, spins around a bit more, lowers, almost stops, and then the kid goes, what's that?
I don't think it's fair for you to make the listener think this movie's fast paced. I think it's funny that during the entire time the bell's like going is just that the young girl in the movie's just like, oh my god, isn't that the most beautiful sound you've ever heard the entire fucking time? Like,
And he still doesn't believe. You're in the north.
You've seen it all now. Why don't you believe yet?
Oh man. There's like a gazillion elves next to you.
Oh, it's so weird. Also, I just want to point out, it was kind of violent how they attached the reindeer to the sleigh.
It kind of looked a bit brutal, didn't it? They
It
were
did,
like,
didn't it?
"Rah!" They're like, get him down, boys.
They're just like, all I ever wanted to do was fly, and they're like, no.
There's elves literally like grabbing them by their hooves, like, get him down.
They need to be bell-dazzled.
It's like hot gluing bells to them, like, we're gonna be stuck there for days.
How to bedazzle your reindeer. First, burn them.
Now, Santa leaves, and then the film kind of goes, right, what is this?
This is weird because the elves are so excited, but it's like celebrating your corporate boss that takes all the credit the day of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just a cult. It's a cult that they're so excited to see the first gift of Christmas be handed out. Let alone the first gift of Christmas be this shitty bell that got like lost. Like this kid could ask for anything, right?
Wait, is this his present?
Yeah, this present is the bell.
I thought the bell just fell off and it was a souvenir he took.
No, that's the first gift of Christmas. That's why they all celebrate.
That's what he asked for.
Lame.
Isn't this the worst kid?
I don't
Get
know
a
anything
PlayStation
about him.
5.
It's
Santa
boring.
has magic. He can get anything.
Well, I like that he sledges the annoying kid. I was like, yes, get him.
Yeah, Santa's like, this kid's annoying.
I was like, that's an arc.
Yeah.
That's an arc.
I love it that the Santa pretty much walks up and is like, you, and you. Kill the rest.
Yeah. So Santa leaves, and then Tom Hanks is like, all right, let's wrap this up. All right, okay, so I'm going to say the girl weighed them down. The poor kid gets learn.
No, the other kid, the poor kid got, respect or friendship or something?
It kept changing.
Oh, it kept changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just about trusting people.
Yeah.
Because he trusted people to make friends, even though the only adventure he has with them is a runaway carriage. So I wouldn't trust
But he
anyone.
was also alone for most of the film.
Yeah.
I actually remember them being more friends through the film, right? In memory. So it was one of those things where I was like, you don't care about each other. You're actually not even going to see each other again.
No.
So...
And then the main kid gets believe, which I guess...
Beleve.
Beleve. I wrote
He's
that
like,
down.
sorry, I'm dyslexic when I use this little
Yeah.
chopper on the thing.
It's funny because it could have been Bell, you know. Remember Bell? That's the message he got.
Yeah. I hate the fact that the kid, the entire movie was like, God, there's a rip in that pocket. I'm not going to put things in it. Loses the bell immediately.
Oh my god, he could not have been losing his belt. Everything he puts in his pocket, I don't think he learns once. Just puts everything in the pocket. Where'd it go? That's most of the plot.
It's funny that the kids are just like, don't worry, we'll help you find the bell. And comedically, the conductor's like, we're leaving!
Well, the annoying kid as well gets the lesson learn, which is to stop, think about what you're saying, learn, I think. And I love that when they're leaving, he gets on the train and has learned nothing.
He's learned nothing.
He's immediately just like, oh, he's like, oh, you're never gonna find that bell again. I'm gone forever.
Oh, so this is how the train works.
He gets off them. I think the message is pretty much just like, well, Tom Hanks is pretty much like, all right, the bell is symbolized for Christmas.
It blew my mind that Tom Hanks became the kid. I was like, is that what was narrating the entire film? You? When you grew up, you turned into Tom Hanks?
But also, he's schizophrenic. Like, this is
Yeah.
a dangerous thing.
Well, this is one of those things that I still don't understand with these types of movies, which is like when they're like, parents forget about Santa, but Santa is real. Who do they think is delivering those gifts?
I know. Who?
Like, it's weird because like the parents pick up the bell and are like, oh, I can't hear the ringing. And then they're like, who the fuck got you this bell as a gift? And why is it broken? And do you reckon the parents had a big argument about it?
I think so. They had a couple of wines. They're like, you got that fucking broken bell, didn't you? Didn't give him his Xbox games. And he's just like, oh, you're such a bitch. You never fuck me. And that's Tom Hanks voicing both people.
Okay, guys, who would watch The Polar Express?
I think either suckers for Christmas.
Yeah.
People who are susceptible to basic marketing. People who believe in email scams. And people who go to Disneyland like every month.
Oh, I think if you love Madame Tussauds and you like those filthy little celebrities, and you're kind of like, oh, they're a bit off, but I guess I'll pay $70 to get a celebrity. You're gonna love the Polar Express.
Well, there's like 5 wax Tom Hanks in this movie,
Oh my
so
God. Can you imagine that Madame Tussauds, but just 5 random assortment Tom Hanks?
Oh god, the Polar Express section of Madame Tussauds. Wow. God, you'd be losing money.
but apparently Madame Tussauds, the wax figures have more personality than the
Oh,
lead.
they're more character, let me tell you that now.
I'd be like, oh my god, they look alive in comparison to the ones in the Polar Express.
They form them in a kind of semicircle, and it's more of an arc than the kid gets.
They're actually just generalized shapes, and you're like, oh, look, humans.
Who would watch this?
Surely this is for fans of Tom Hanks. Like, ones that want, like, a lot of Tom.
I think most people like Tom Hanks, and he gets like a lot of starring roles. I don't think anyone loves this for Tom Hanks.
I think, considering Robert Zemeckis also did Castaway, which was a movie that was about just Tom Hanks, he's clearly obsessed with finding ways to only have Tom Hanks. Like, he was like, either we're straining you on an island for the full film, or you're playing every character, and there's no in between.
This is a Robert Zemeckis' Cornetto trilogy.
Oh my God.
Like Edgar Wright, if you don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know film. You can do the voice, Oscar.
Okay, so here's the thing. Cornetto trilogy is Edgar Wright's films. He really nails it. Each one is Shaun of the Dead.
No.
Paul isn't really a part of them.
But I can also consider it. It's on the DVD box set.
I mean, I think I can personally have a look at this and understand why people like it in terms of, I think there is like a fun atmosphere, and the idea of the magic train is kind of cool. Like the idea that they're all in their pajamas on a train having cocoa, like I reckon had this movie been like done instead in like the animation style of say Klaus, this would probably have a bit more charm and warmth to it.
I wish the train looked more like the Hogwarts Express.
Mm.
Like how cheery that looks. This was just a depressing
I
train.
just think it looks like a video game half the time.
It feels
Yeah.
like a cutscene.
Yeah.
Actually, the vibe of Christmas in the first Harry Potter movie is how I wish
that's what
this
you want,
movie felt
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So charming and like up in the north in the snow, and there's a train and little hijinks, and the main kids should have felt like those kids, you know?
Like this movie only has warm color tones at the beginning, and never again.
Which is
They're like-
ironic because it's like when he doesn't believe in Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he never gets happy again. It's just really a kid that's on like a depression train, really, and he's circling down an awful road to an awful end.
Clive, you got any palate cleansers? Yeah, we watched anything other than the Polar Express for a year?
I am really into the White Lotus, the season 2. Watch the first 2 episodes. I think similar to the Polar Express. No, in terms of the Polar Express, it's a bunch of people like trapped in one location. Well, they're not trapped, but they're all like a bunch of people in one location, forced to interact, and just what brings out the worst of them. And you hope that they learn something by the end.
Hmm.
I'm assuming at the end of White Lotus they won't. You know, it's white privilege there. I think there's white privilege in the Polar Express, and it has the same unintentional ending. So I'm enjoying the White Lotus for being a better version of the Polar Express.
think that's a good
Said
way.
no one ever except me.
I love you've watched just 2 pieces of media and you're like, this is a much better Polar Express. Let me tell you that now.
I mean, when you've only seen 2 pieces of media, all you can do is compare them.
Yeah.
They're in completely different fields as well, which is hilarious. One's animated, one's not. One's a film, one's not. One's done by Robert Zemeckis, the other by Mike White, which they couldn't be more different styles of filmmaker.
One has Jennifer Coolidge, enough said.
It's true.
I think
The
she was
Polar
in.
Express?
I think she was in a
She played the
Cinderella.
hobo.
I think she was in a Cinderella story that same year. Yes, I talked about it in my first podcast, and I brought the tradition back. That's all
Did
I need
you?
to. Yeah, I talked about a Cinderella
did,
story
yeah.
in the first one, and now I realize I'm talking about it again on my second one, and I cannot wait for Santa Claus to bring me back next year. We'll talk about Cinderella's
Very
story
exciting and very
Wow,
exciting.
alright.
Clive, do you want to tell us what we're going to be chatting about next week?
next week.
Just throw that onto you. I don't even know myself.
Next
we're doing
week
the
you-
Princess Switch next week.
Okay. So this is actually the final episode of the podcast,
Yeah.
guys.
Just because you don't know what we're watching, you're like, looks like it's coming to an end for the two of you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, he's like, I'll be taking over, stepping over. Thanks, guys.
I walked in here not knowing their setup, and these guys aren't well.
No.
Well, you're trapped behind cardboard boxes.
Oh, yeah, we should probably talk. If the mic situation fucks up and you listen to the whole episode, we try to give you another mic. I've got cardboard covering me. I haven't been able to see the boys. I've pretty much been in the dark.
Yeah, you've been blinded the entire time.
Yeah.
That's why you're like, anytime I do a physical gag, like, I don't know, jump, you're like, I don't know what's going on.
I got no idea. And you've done a lot of jumping gags. I can tell.
Dude, the only gag I know how to do.
Yeah, so apparently I've got the word next week is the Princess Switch. If you're a Vanessa Hudgens fan, I recommend this one. I thought it was kind of charming in a funny way. I mean, if you're willing to sit down with a whole bottle of rosé, another bottle of red, a Chardonnay, a gin and tonic, down the mall, and then watch it, you probably laugh.
Yeah,
I'm glad you've already like sorted out the who to watches for us next week.
yeah,
Like,
it's true.
Clive.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Clive heavily drinking.
Alright, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for bringing this film. And until next Christmas, we're not going to be hearing a fucking peep from you.
Yeah.
Not a word from you. But here's what's this. People might not actually know this. Clive's been here every single episode
Yeah.
with the mic. We only turn it on for the Christmas
No,
episode.
it's on. Just that if he makes a peep, we start the episode again. These episodes take us maybe 18 hours to record. Cops, we start right back again.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.